Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So let's start off with this, ladies and gentlemen. I love this. Marco Rubio with the president. You know, there's one thing about the president you've got to say. You know, growing up in Florida, we have this expression: if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. And of course, in the summer in particular, it rains like you can't believe because it's a tropical place. Well, if you don't like the president now, just wait, it'll change. Do you like his position on Iran or Ukraine? No, wait. Tomorrow he can walk in the next day and say, you know what? Forget it. I changed my mind. Forget it. Everybody out of the pool. Well, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio publicly backed Hungarian leader Viktor Orbán's re-election bid, framing the close ties between the U.S. administration and a nationalist European government as part of a golden age of cooperation, a move that raises questions about how foreign policy decisions are being shaped by ideology rather than traditional diplomatic strategy. What does this mean? Let me give you an example. Do you remember when Tucker Carlson was on Fox, still on Fox, and he interviewed Viktor Orbán, and they went berserk, because he made so much sense. And he was basically a part of this new nationalist movement to basically tell Europe it's over. Europe is dead. Not the European countries, but old Europe, the EU, those people who are still, NATO. And I know you're not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it. NATO, a waste of money. NATO. What was NATO about? What was NATO about? It was about, what was it, class? Soviet Union. The Soviet Union. Not Russia, the Soviet Union. You know how many people still don't understand? They didn't read the papers. It was in 91. There's no more Soviet Union. I have a Russian friend of mine. He says, do you know what it's like when you went to bed one night and you woke up and instead of there being the United States, instead it was Georgia, New York. It was like there was no United Confederation, consolidation, nothing. This overnight, it's gone. It's gone. That just blows my mind. It's gone. You know what that does to people? You know what that does to people's mentality? And so all of a sudden, they say, we have to do something. What? Well, what do we do about NATO? Well, there's no more Soviet Union. Don't tell people that. We're not going to get rid of NATO. And remember what they did. They went to Gorbachev and they said, listen, we promise you, we will not take one step, 1 foot east if you were to basically dissolve, reestablish Germany. Don't worry about it. NATO, don't worry about NATO. We won't be, I promise, our word is our bond. And what did we do immediately after? It expanded and went right up to the border. And then that's why Putin, and nobody likes to hear this, that's why Putin said, oh, no, you don't. You're not going to put a NATO country on my border the same way we would do it. So anyway, to make a long story short, years and years and years went by, and people have said, we never said that. Listen to what the United States said. This is the best. When, I don't know if it was Putin or Yeltsin, I don't know who. But anyway, somebody said, hey, you made a deal and you said you wouldn't step 1 foot east. How do you explain NATO basically surrounding what is now Russia. Didn't you go back on your word? You know what we said? You're going to love this. Our deal was with the Soviet Union. There is no more Soviet Union. So the people that we dealt with aren't here anymore. So you have no say in this. So Putin said, well, I've got an idea. Can we join NATO? Can we join the EU? They said, no, we're not the Soviet Union. We're just Russia. No way. So I think you know what that's all about. So this is absolutely, positively critical in terms of what the president is doing, because I think if you were to sit down with him, he would show, you know what? We've got a whole nother world. And I want to leave. I'm going to change everything. Because after all, what is nationalism? What does all this mean?